to go across to Jamnagar. Jamnagar is where Reliance Industries has its massive refinery, a lot of heavy-duty industrial equipment over there. Saurabh Akhtania is joining us from there. Saurabh, this is where we have very high-value industrial installations, and largely they'd be secure, but I'm very curious to know what the current situation in Jamnagar is. What can you tell us?
So, well, Rahul, let me tell you that the situation is in Jamnagar right now is coming back to normal, because earlier the wind speed were very high. Since afternoon, the wind was blowing at a very high speed, but right now the speed has decreased. The visuals behind me, you can see there is lot of vehicular traffic movement as well. People have now started to come out of their houses as well. Earlier this was not the situation. There have been many calls which have been made to the NDRF and other government officials that there have been many incidents of trees which have fallen. Also many of the electric poles have been fallen, and some of the huge hoardings in Jamnagar city were seen flying. So those 4 to 5 hours were very critical. The NDRF officials are over here. They were spread across several places in Jamnagar. Remember, half of the Jamnagar still does not have electricity. That electricity was completely cut down, because if the electric poles were falling on that particular time, then people could have died due to electric current. I was one of that spot in Bed, wherein in one house itself a huge tree and an electric pole both fall on one particular house. So the situation was pretty much grim at that particular time, but right now things are trying to get back at normal. But how much discussion?
Saurabh, I just want to tell you and our viewers that anybody who at this time thinks that things have become normal is actually making a big mistake. And let me try and explain this. So think of this as the eye of the storm. So the eye of the storm has the beginning of the eye, and that's what's happened. So the beginning of the eye has struck landfall and has hit the coast of Gujarat. Then you're in the middle of the eye, and when you're in the middle of the eye, it almost feels exactly what Saurabh Akhtania is describing at this moment, that there is a vacuum, that suddenly there's no wind. There's a lot of wind as the storm was coming in, and then there's nothing, and you feel, okay, maybe it wasn't so bad, maybe things aren't so bad after all, and this was a bit of hype. When the eye ends is when the real fury in terms of wind speed, in terms of the rain, actually comes and hits the ground, and that's when you realize and feel the full might of the storm. So where Saurabh is, and which is why at this moment in some places it feels as if the wind speeds have gone down, and I've experienced this personally covering super cyclones in Orissa, which is why for a while after landfall it feels that, okay, you know, stopped raining, maybe things are getting better. But Saurabh Akhtania, that isn't actually the case, which is what in Dwarka and elsewhere people are going to realize in some time from now when the eye actually ends. Okay, there is obviously a lot of disturbance there in the area where Saurabh Akhtania is. We'll go back to him for more, but remember, if at this moment it feels as if there's a vacuum, it's because you are in the eye of the storm, which is why it is called being in the eye of the storm. The massive storm is actually coming at the back, and I can show it to you on the image as well, which is where the storm really is, and therefore that's what you need to be really mindful of. So just one second, let me come to this particular moment. Here we are at about 8 p.m. So the moment you're in the eye of the storm, you feel as if there's been a suction, which is where the winds are coming from the back, and that's where the full might of the cyclone actually hits you.